Okay, so this baking tip has to do with how to easily remove brownies or other dessert bars from a pan. And the best strategy that I've learned over time is to just go ahead and layer the pan in aluminum foil. So that's what I've done in this example, and this is a 9x13 glass pan that I use quite a bit. And I've just torn a strip of aluminum foil off and layered it all the way in and creased around the edges. Main thing, just make sure that the aluminum foil you have enough so that it goes up around the entire edge, so that it goes up around the walls. The way that I used to do it was I would bake straight in the pan, like this one, but then you run into the problem when you go to remove the brownie or whatever dessert it is. You end up having to cut straight into it. And you can kind of tell from this pan, it's pretty beaten up. It's got a lot of knife marks in it. It's just not good for the pan and the longevity of it, and it's not as easy on the dessert either. You end up getting pieces that don't cut quite right, or it gets stuck to the pan pretty easily, and that just doesn't work very well. So I found out that the aluminum foil way to do it is perfect like this, because after you bake it, all you have to do is let it cool, and then you can just lift the edges of the aluminum foil and remove the entire thing from the pan, put it straight onto a cutting board, and you've got a nice easy cut, because you can fold the sides down, and that way you've got nothing for a wall blocking you. On this one, obviously you'd have to go around the edges where you've got the wall lining up and it becomes an issue. But with this, you can just remove it, flatten it out, and it makes it really easy to cut, which has been just a heaven send. So one thing that's really important that I found out is to make sure to use something good like this one, heavy-duty aluminum foil. The cheap stuff, like this one from Winco, it's great for any type of a cover that I do over anything, where it doesn't matter how thick it is, but when I put it into the actual dish and then go to remove it, a lot of the times it'll tear. It tears very easily on the thin stuff. So the heavy-duty Reynolds wrap, really quality stuff, it's really, really thick. So I never have issues with it tearing, because that's the huge part. When you put it in the aluminum foil, you want that aluminum foil to stay consistent and not tear. One other tip, too, is with the aluminum foil, I always spray it down with some PAM, but even with that, you still could get some sticking or some burning if you're not careful. So one thing, especially if you're doing something just like brownies, if you don't want it to burn, I always just cut a strip of parchment paper, and you can just lay it straight down on the bottom then. I still usually do a little bit of a spray around the edges of the wall of the aluminum foil, but you don't have to worry about the parchment paper at all. It won't stick, won't burn, you're fine. So that's one strategy that I've really found that's helped, and I think it's probably worth a shot. Thanks for listening.